Great.
So I'm so excited because this evening I have with me Steph Taylor. She is an Instagram superstar and has her own podcast, Socialette. I'm so excited to have Steph joining me this evening.
Hi, Claire. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So well, probably should introduce myself for anyone who doesn't know me. My name's Claire Wood, and I'm a business coach that works with women in the services industries. And this month, I've been talking all about social media, and that's why I wanted to get Steph to come in and have a chat to us about Instagram and share some of her insights and knowledge with us all. So, to kick off, Steph, can you tell us a little bit about you and about Wild Bloom and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. So, Wild Bloom, basically, we are a wellness marketing consultancy. So, we work with honest brands to empower them through marketing strategy and consulting. And how I got started is a little bit of a, it's a bit of a long story, but long story short, I used to work in a corporate job that I absolutely hated. And I left it to start my own business selling health food products and working with health food brands to promote their products through a subscription box. And I soon found that, like sending out products every month wasn't really giving me the freedom that I quit my corporate job for. So I I stopped doing that, and I realized actually the part of that that I enjoyed doing the most was working with the brands to create content and to sort of kickstart them along like on their marketing journeys, because a lot of these brands were brand new. And from that, Wild Bloom was born, and now that was about a year and a half ago almost. So
Whoa,
I
that's gone
know.
fast.
I know. So now it's a team of myself and three others, which is I don't even know how that happened. It feels like a bit of a whirlwind, but yeah, here we are now. And then I launched the podcast in May this year. It's called Socialette. It's a bite-sized online marketing podcast. So basically, if you're a business owner and you don't have much time to learn about social media, Facebook ads, marketing strategy, all of the things that are part of running your business, it's the perfect podcast for you. And yeah, that's basically my whole story. The
And
short
I
version.
hear episode 42 is really good.
Yes, it is. It may involve an interview with someone by the name of Claire Wood. No, it's actually a really
Awesome.
good episode.
um, okay, Fab. So I'm going to need to look at my sheet of paper because I can't remember what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
But what I was going to ask, do you need, when it comes to Instagram, do you need to put a strategy in place around your Instagram plan?
Yes. Oh, yes. If you don't have a strategy, basically you are going to end up doing the spray and pray approach, which is like you sort of put everything and anything out there. A lot of the time people will start posting like 10 times in a day or even 3 times a day, and they'll just post whatever, and then they'll do that for a couple of days, not get results, and be like, okay, that's not working for me, or Instagram doesn't work for my business. Whereas if you've got a strategy, you're sort of looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at, so how is what I'm posting today going to help me get a little bit closer to my 6-month goal, my 1-year goal, my 20-year vision? Everything should be in line with that. And it sort of keeps you on track and motivated, even if you're not seeing the results instantly, because it's not an instant platform. It's slow organic growth. It takes a while. So if you've got that strategy to make sure that you're on track, it helps you stay motivated and keep up that consistency.
And one of the big things that you said to me that I love as well is that it's not about followers, it's not about likes, it's
Yeah.
a marketing strategy. So to your point, like who cares if you've got thousands of followers if none of them are your ideal clients?
Or if
So
none of them even care about you.
yes, exactly. So to your point, I think, slow and steady, but making sure that you're getting the right people following you is definitely the way to go.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because yeah, you could have 500,000 followers, but if none of them care about what you're saying or what you're selling, then you're wasting your time. You'd
Yeah.
rather have 10 people who actually genuinely care.
So on that point, how does the Instagram algorithm work? because
Okay.
I feel like sometimes there's all these things come, and sometimes I know I'm following someone and I never see them. So
Yeah.
how does the algorithm actually work?
Yeah, so Instagram updated it fairly recently, and they came out and they said sort of what determines what you see in your newsfeed. There's three main things. So relationships, the first one, and that is basically how close Instagram deems your relationship to be with this person. So it could be based on like whether you're tagged in photos together, how often you comment on each other's posts, like whether you DM each other, everything like that. Um, Recency is another thing. So how recent the post is, and interest. So how interested Instagram thinks you'll be in the content based on what you've interacted with in the past. So those are the three main things. They've also said that whether you use other features on the platform like Instagram Live or IGTV, none of those affect how like where your posts show up in the feed. So yeah, there's actually if you look up in Google the recent Instagram algorithm changes, I think something like that. Later or Planoly, one of the big scheduling tools, did a huge blog post with everything that Instagram said. It's really worth a read.
Ooh.
There's a few things
Okay.
in there that went against what most of us believed, like shadow banning, not a real thing apparently, just a glitch.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well,
very
definitely
interesting.
something to check out. Now, you've kind of just mentioned it just before, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about it. Instagram TV's popped up.
Yes.
Um, do we need to be on it? Because to me, I'm like, it's just another thing that we have to do.
Exactly.
What's the advantage of being on, and do you think it's going to take off?
So, I mean, as with everything, because there's just so much out there now, I always say to everyone, I say, look, you don't, rather than trying to be on everything and feeling like you have to be on Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Instagram live, IGTV, Facebook stories, Facebook live, Facebook groups, like
Yeah.
everything, rather than feeling like you have to be doing the latest thing, find what works for you and then just
Yeah.
do that and do it consistently. You're much better off doing, if you can just commit to doing 3 Instagram stories a week and 3 organic Instagram posts a week, you're better committing to that than doing an Instagram post one week and then an IGTV the next week, then an Instagram story the next week. Because if you're consistent, then that sort of starts to build trust. People know where to find you. They know that you're going to show up for them, that you're going to be there for your audience. And if you can consistently be there, then yeah, they're going to start trusting you a bit more. So that said, IGTV is a bit more like YouTube than Instagram stories. It's longer form. So I think the minimum length is about 15 seconds. And the maximum, they might have changed this, but when it first launched, it was 10 minutes for smaller accounts and 60 minutes, up to 60 minutes for longer accounts. But they did say that eventually it'll be unlimited time. So it's um, it's like YouTube. You have a channel and you post this longer form content. However, it is vertical shaped, not landscape like YouTube. So obviously they're trying to encourage people to use their phone cameras rather than being put off by the fact that maybe they don't have like a full studio setup. So
Yeah.
if video is your thing, then yeah, go for it. Like for me, video is not my thing, so I podcast instead. If you're comfortable taking video, editing it, sharing it consistently, it might be 3 times a week, it might be once every 2 weeks. Find a schedule that works for you and do that. In terms of whether it's going to take off, I mean, it's fairly early days. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of traction so far. I haven't tested it personally, mainly because I'm not a big video person, but I have been meaning to, and I might do that once I'm back in Aussie land. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So watch the space, definitely.
Yeah, we'll be interested. I mean, so far, like people that I'm chatting to and other business owners that I know, everyone's like, nah, like it doesn't feel like
Yeah,
anything, that's not already to your point, available. And it seems like people are just using it as another platform to dump video content
exactly. Yeah, and I
rather
think
than
that's
thinking
part of the
it's usable.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of the problem. There's just so much content now. Like it's literally saturated. everywhere you go, like there is just content being thrown at you. You've got your feed, you've got
Yeah.
your stories, you've got the explore page, you've got IGTV now, you've got DMs, like on the app, it's just content overwhelm. And I kind of wonder if it's maybe a little bit too much, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, watch this space.
Yeah.
Uh, what is my next question? Let me come back to my sheet of paper. I just got a bit excited, carried away. Um, what was I going to say next? Oh, this is a good one. How do you find the right hashtags for your business?
Oh, I love this one. Um, so, like, obviously, if people aren't really familiar, hashtags are a good way to reach new people, get your posts in front of them, etc. So, a good way to find hashtags is if you've already been using hashtags. So, go back and look through the ones that you've been using and see what Instagram recommends as related ones.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, I forgot step one. I always write out a couple of different hashtag groups. So, for example, for me, like one hashtag group might be Facebook ads, and that I'd use those hashtags for all posts related to Facebook ads. Maybe another one would be Instagram. Another one would be like behind the scenes in business. And then inside each of those hashtag groups, I put different hashtags in there. Um, so I go through, look at my old hashtags and see what Facebook recommends, categorize them into the different groups, look at competitors, see what they're using, add those in, click into those hashtags, see what Instagram recommends, and just basically keep going down the rabbit hole of different hashtags to see what until those sets are full, basically. There are some hashtag research tools you can use, but I mean, those cost money, and a lot of the time it's not really something you want to fork out for when you're just starting out. So just, yeah, using what Instagram already gives you is a good place to start there.
Yeah, awesome. And do you think you need to use the full 30 hashtags every post?
I don't. I usually leave a couple spare in my hashtag sets in case I want to hashtag something in the actual post content. But I don't think you do. I mean, it's one of those things you can't really reliably measure it because there's so many other factors that are in play there for your engagement. So I I don't think I honestly don't notice any difference when I use 15 hashtags or when I use the full 30. But again, it's
I
something you
think it's
can
about
just test for yourself.
quality over quantity, maybe.
Exactly, yeah. And it depends. Like, I mean, you could use 30 really terrible hashtags or you could use 15 really good ones. And yeah, so
Yeah,
it
cool.
is much of a muchness, really.
Yeah. So, talking about hashtags, let's come back to content.
Mhm.
What sort of things should people be posting on Instagram?
Yeah, okay. So this, I guess, comes back to your strategy and what you're trying to achieve with it. So there's no like one hard and fast rule for everyone. A good rule of thumb is to not just be sell, sell, sell all the time. You want to actually try and educate or inspire, entertain, connect with your audience. So rather than just constantly every post promoting, try and get a good balance where maybe once every 3 posts or once every 5 posts you're promoting. So
Yeah.
so for example, so entertaining someone, I mean, this could be like a funny quote that your audience could relate to. So I'm like, for me, for example, I use coffee quotes because most business owners can relate to being a caffeine addict. um,
Yeah.
and then inspirational posts. So it could be, for example, travel, or it could be inspiring stories about something that a client of yours has achieved. And then educating them. So this could be sharing educational tips. Like you do this really well, Claire. You share a lot of really good business tips through your Instagram content. And that's sort of adding a bit more value into your ideal customer or client's life. And then when you actually promote to them, they think, oh, okay, like it's just one promotional post. I'm not going to unfollow them just because they've promoted it, rather than it being, if you're constantly promoting, they're going to think, oh, she's spamming me. I don't want to follow her anymore. And then,
Yeah.
of course, by adding value, you're starting to build that trust. They're starting to know you, they're starting to love you. And then when you promote from them, they think, oh, okay, she's actually got a paid product, or I can actually work with her. I'm going to click through and find out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a big thing that I love is behind the scenes stuff. And I don't
Yes.
know why. But it's the weirdest thing, whenever anyone, and people think it's so boring, but I know even for me, like, I did a photo shoot the other day, and
Yes.
I got such great engagement on a shot of her taking a photo of me. Like
Yeah.
it's one of my best posts. And I know similarly, like for other coaches, sometimes they post their home setup with the lights and the camera, or product-based businesses, and they do like little shots of them. And they're like, no one wants to see this, but I don't know why. I love to see it. And so
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
sharing things like that's another great way to get buy-in from your
Exactly.
audience.
That's see, I put that as part of like the connection building content because that's showing basically that yeah, there is a human behind the brand and we're not all perfect. It's not all the Instagram highlight reel that like we usually see from some of the bigger brands. And I think like
Yeah.
that's actually a really big advantage of being a small business is you have that ability to tell your story and to actually be there to connect with your people rather than not like being inaccessible, somebody like up in the C-suite of a huge business who's not
Yeah.
accessible at all to their audience.
And people love that.
Yeah,
People love to know you. They love to know about you. So be loud and proud. Be out there with your
exactly.
story. Be sharing,
Yes.
little snippets. And again, like the little snippets when people go, three things you might not know about me, or
Yeah.
places that you've traveled to. I think these things are always really interesting and help build a connection with your audience.
Oh, definitely. And like on that thing where you said like three things you might not know about me, like a great that's really it's a good opportunity to get people to engage with you and to talk about themselves by asking them to share three things about themselves.
Yes, definitely.
And then that
Oh, and
opens up the
that's a
two-way
really good
conversation.
point. It's a communication, a two-way communication
Oh
channel.
yeah. Yeah, like so many people think, oh, it's I'm there to just blast my content out. But actually, no, it's you're there to build that two-way communication. Like I said, one of the advantages of being a small business is you can do the things that don't scale. You can be in there checking your comments, seeing what people are saying, finding out what people are interested in, what they want to learn more about, what they want you to sell. Like it's not just for you to be out there telling everyone everything. It's for you to be open to listening to them and communicating with them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a bit of an abstract question, but it's just something I thought of. When you get those random bots, that's obviously a bot, like you get a great content
Uh,
or bad pic or something from, an obscure Instagram account. What's your advice? Do you interact with it? Like, do you write back, oh, thanks? Do you just leave it?
I report spam every time. Because
Okay,
if enough
yeah,
people report spam, then the account gets shut down because they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. It ruins
yeah,
it for the rest of us who like to do things the white hat way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fab advice. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I had for you tonight.
Awesome.
Um, is there anything that you've got coming up in your business that you'd like to
Oh,
share with people watching?
oh my goodness, so much. No, so if you've listened to this chat and you want to find out more about like maybe putting together a strategy or something for your Instagram, I've got a free chapter of my Instagram domination ultimate guide to marketing your business on Instagram ebook you can download for free. So you can get that from stephtaylor.co/free chapter. And I believe Claire's going to put the link in the comments. And then also, I've got a free Facebook ads live training if that's something you're interested in. I've got that coming up on Tuesday, 28th of August at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I'd love to see you there. I'll be there doing Q&A at the end as well. So I'd love for you to join me. And yeah, if you want to find out more about Wild Bloom and potentially working with us, our website is wearewildbloom.com. And my podcast is called Socialette, and you can search for me in all of the major podcast apps, iTunes, Spotify, all of those. And that's just all of it, a few things.
Yeah, I reckon lots going on. Lots
I
going on.
drink a
Well,
lot of
thank you
coffee.
so much for taking the time to come and chat to us this evening.
Thank you,
I'm sure
Claire.
people have taken lots of great tips away, and thanks so much.
Thanks, Claire. It's been great chatting.
Bye.
Bye.